Okay, so what did we get? I'm just going to erase all this. I don't care. What do we get for question number 1? 450. Anybody have any issues? 450. All right, let's figure out why. So to me, I would have done 30 to 20, which is 3 to 2. Do you agree with that? And then I would just square, and that's 9 to 4. You agree? Now here's where I always tell kids, I'm just looking at the small area, trying to get to the large area. So I know I'm gonna have to multiply, right? So I'm just multiplying 200 times 9/4. You agree with that now? All right. Now, what about question number 2? I think that was kind of a small number, wasn't it? 1 point what? Anybody else get 1.336? 7 point what? Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I got 16.
Well, listen, guys, I don't think it's possible for it to be 16.45. Like, let's just say this was a 15. That means it's what? 5 times greater. You agree? If that was a 15, that would be 5 times greater, right? Which means it's got to be at least what? 25 times smaller. You have to at least divide that by 25. Everybody hearing me? Right? What? Because the area of the big one is, that's not the right answer. I'm just saying some of you guys thought it was 7 and some of you thought it was 16. And I'm just saying it can't be that, obviously. You see what I'm saying, guys? That's what I'm saying. I'm glad we're reviewing this. Right? Does everyone understand the ratio is just what? 16 to 3, right? So now you do what? Square it. So it's 256 over what? 256 over 9. So the area of the larger one is 256 ninths times greater than the smaller one, correct? Now I'm going from this area to this area. I'm dividing it, right? So if I wanted to, I could say 38 divided by 256 ninths, which is the same as times 9 over 256. So somebody tell me what 38 times 9 is. 380, 342. What is it? How much?
322.
That's what I thought. Over 256. That's what I have as the answer. Oh, but I can reduce that. What does that reduce down to? Yeah, 171 over 128. Now, come on, for those of you guys, I say this honestly, I think it's easy. The numbers look what? They look awkward. It's okay. What? Now tell me what the problem is. Yes, and you have to be careful, right? It's because this is the ratio of the sides. Look how easy that is. If you have sides and you want area, you square the sides to get to the area, right? If you have area, you want to get to the side, you take the square root. Sam, go. No, number 3. All right, now we're back on this. Drew, I have the ratio of the what? I have the ratio of the areas, right? So the ratio of the areas is, it looks to me like 36 to 25. So that means the ratio of the sides is what? 6 to 5, right? Do you agree with that or not? Now you understand? Right. Now I'm at the what? Large, and I need to get to the what? Small. So it's just 8 divided by 6/5, or 8 times 5/6, which I think is, That's a 4. That's a 3. 20 over 3 meters. Now again, I keep saying it, and some of you, if you're in a fog, I want to lift the fog, but you have to tell me so I can make it obvious. I want it as obvious for you as it is for me. That's all. Morty, tell me. Yeah, I prefer fractions because I don't feel like writing 6.6 repeating. Right? Plus, you get to advanced math, we use exact. We don't use approximations. That's why fractions are better than decimals, despite what the science teacher tells you. All right? Any questions? All right? Simon, is that good? All right, let's talk about 4. So the ratio of the areas is what? Now, why is this one awkward? You can't take the square root of 7 or 3. So most people just say, well, then if they're not squares, let's go ahead and just square them. That's not true. That's the ratio of the areas, right? So now the ratio of the sides is the square root of 7/3. Now, am I getting larger or am I getting smaller? So what am I going to do with that answer? Multiply it by what? What am I multiplying though? So the answer is 30 times the square root of 7/3. All right. What? Oh, you're right. You're right. Thank you, Sam. You're right. I'm not looking for area. I'm looking for sides. Sorry about that. Sam, good job. Good catch. I'm not doing area. That's my mistake. It is what? Not 30, but what? 7. Thank you again. All right. Now, let's say we're taking a test. You weren't allowed a calculator. Then the answer would be 7 radical 7 over radical 3, right? Well, you're not allowed to have radicals in the denominator, so you have to do what? Multiply by radical 3. So the answer is 7 radical 21 over 3. Everybody with me on that? But of course, all right, if someone would tell me what's 7 radical 21 divided by 3, that way you can see if you actually got the right answer. Come on, someone tell me real quick. How much? About 10.69. I'm not sure if he's correct. All right, is that good enough? All right, come on now. Remember, I'm trying to tell you, I don't think it's that hard. All right, we got a couple more problems. Make sure you're good. All right, so now I'm on number 5. Oh, okay, what? Oh, boy. Boy, there was a lot of thought in that one. Man, we could have. All right, all right. Yeah, that was a dumb one. All right. No offense, Drew. All right. Number 6. Wait a minute. What's the ratio of the areas? 3-to-1. So that means the ratio of the side is radical 3 times what? Radical 3 times larger or smaller? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, it is 9 divided by radical 3, which is what? Which is what? Thank you, Sam. I knew I could count on somebody. 3 radical 3 is the answer. And it's about what, 5.1? Somewhere around there. Right now, look, I'm just telling you, writing down the answer is not helpful. Or it's just not. I keep asking. I really don't think it's that difficult. Anybody have any issues? I normally don't go over all the problems, but I just feel like for whatever reason, this is a tricky concept, right? All right. Let's see about 7. All right, it says a target consists of 2 concentric similar octagons. Remember, concentrics just means it shares a common center. The outside octagon has a side length of 2 feet and an area of 19.28. The inside octagon has a side length of 1.5. What is the area? Okay, come on. Everybody take 45 seconds. Double check your work. And then everybody tell me the right answer. All right, double check your work. Make sure you did it properly. And then everybody tell me the answer. We all should have the same thing because you're double checking your work. And if you didn't do it, now's the time. Get on it. Ten seconds. All right. Tell me, Drew. 10.845. Simon, you got that? Anybody else get something different? Tell me. 14.46. Tell me, William. Good, good guys. Somebody else. Somebody else, somebody else, somebody else. Okay, so if I were doing this, the inside octagon has a side length of 1.5, which is the small, and the large is 2, right? So all I did on mine was I just did 2 over 1.5, and then I just made it what? 4 over 3. All right, just because I could look at it better. And then that means the ratio of the sides is what? Or I'm sorry, the ratio of the areas. No. Which is, come on. Yeah, 4 over 3 squared. Now, we don't need to say that. We're just going to say 16 over 9, right? Now, am I getting smaller or larger? If the inside octagon has a length of 1.5, what is the area of the inside? That means we're looking for this area here, correct? So is it getting smaller or larger? Smaller. So I'm taking 19.28 and multiplying it by what? 9 over 16. I think that is simple, right? If you're not seeing it, let me know. And what is that answer? How much? 10.845. For those of you guys who got that, you're in good shape, unless I did something wrong. Morty. Because, good question, good question. Every single time we talk about this, if you multiply by a number greater than 1, you're always getting what? Bigger. But if you multiply by a number between 0 and 1, you're getting, you see what I'm saying now, right? That's a good question. All right, you got to remember that. All right, what? You can do that. I don't, dividing by 16/9 is the same as multiplying by 9/16, but it's easier on the calculator if you just do the reciprocal. One less button to hit, right? I don't divide by fractions, ever. We multiply by the reciprocal. Multiply by the reciprocal. All right. Anybody just slightly unsure? Anybody? All right, guys, I'm happy with that. I don't know why every year I say it's easy and then everybody has a problem, all right? And pretty soon we'll be doing similar volumes. And what do you think the ratio of the volumes is going to be? If the area is squared, the volume is probably cubed. That's exactly right. All right, simple, simple. All right, here we go, 10.6. All right, now, this section used to be 2 or 3 sections in the book, and then they just decided, I don't know, they were saving paper or something, decided to make it all one. All right. So again, we're going to talk about surface area, and we'll start with a good definition of surface area. Tell me. Area of the what? Surfaces. Yes, everybody's always so brilliant. Surface area is the area of the surfaces. So in my pre-algebra class, we are going to be doing this next week. All right. I know you're laughing, right? But am I telling you the truth? Yes. We are finding the surface area, and then we are doing the what? Volume. And then I show them, look, you guys are doing the same exact thing as my 8th graders are. All right? That's it. It's the same thing. All right. However, our difference is we know shapes better. All right. So I'm not saying, okay, this shape is made up of 6 rectangles, so find the area of the 6 rectangles and add it together. This is a cylinder, so you add the 2 circles, and then you add what's around. All right, they don't understand that quite yet. All right, you know all the formulas. Are you going to be given any formulas on the test? 0. 0. You have to know them all. All right. So if you know the area formulas, then you know the what? Surface area formulas. It's that easy. All right. So we are going to talk about surface area of a prism and surface area of pyramids. All right. And again, I want to demonstrate how simple it is. All right. Because there are really only what? 2 formulas. There's really only 2 formulas for all shapes. All right. But most people don't know that. All right. That's why it is super important for you to listen. All right. And make sure you understand exactly what I'm saying. Now, if you don't want to remember the formula, you will be what? You will just be like my pre-algebra kids who will be finding the area of each side. And trust me, I have kids every year in geometry who find the area of all the sides and add them up. All right, and you can do that. I don't have a problem. All right, but there might be some shapes that make it a little bit more difficult, like this pyramid, to find the surface area of the pyramid. All right, so here we go. Let's start with, I'm probably just going to add a page real quick, just so we can go through a few things. All right, and I can show you how simple it is. All right. All right, so we're going to first talk about a prism. All right, now generally, well, I'm not even going to waste time. I'm just going to copy a prism down here. And then I'm just going to bring it up so we can talk about a prism. So somebody tell me why that's called a prism. Because it looks like a prison?
Prism.
Because it looks like a prism. Thank you. That's what I'm asking you.
Oh, it's not triangular prism.
It is a triangular prism. Thank you very much. That's why I like this one to start out with. This right here, is that the base? What? Stop talking. What figure is the base? The triangle is the base. All right, the triangle is the base. Now, how do I know what the base is? The base is the shape that's parallel, right, to the opposite side, and it is the exact same shape. All right, so the triangle is considered the base. So in a prism, how many bases are there? There are 2 bases. So here we go. Surface area of a prism. Surface area of a prism is 2 capital B. What does capital B stand for?
Base.
Yeah. Now, it doesn't just stand for base. It stands for area of the base. All right. Area of the base. Is everybody with me on this? All right. So the surface area again is always 2 times the area of the base. Now, why do we say that? Because the base can be a circle, it can be a triangle, it can be any shape, octagon, it can be any shape at all. All right. This is called the general formula for the surface area of a prism. All right. So first of all, there are 2 bases. So you calculate the area of the base and then you multiply it by 2. Now, the rest of the prism is made up of what shapes? Rectangles. All right. So in this case, there are what? There are 3 rectangles. Now, just listen for a quick second because it doesn't have to be 3, depending on the shape, it could be 4 or 5. But what I'm trying to show you is this. And this is a little bit harder for kids to visualize. That's why I don't really do it with my pre-algebra kids. But for you guys, I expect more. So here we go. This right here and this right here would be the area. Does everybody agree with that? So we could say this is length 1 times width 1. Does everybody agree with that? All right. Now over here, what I'm going to draw now is I'm going to draw the back rectangle, and that's length 2. Does it have to be the same? Could it be the same? It could, but it doesn't have to be. Now, somebody tell me what this is right here. Is it a different width or is it the same width? It is the same width. All right, that's important. So it's L2 times W1. All right, now the bottom, that width is what? L3. And then the width, what are you thinking? Now listen here, guys. So basically what I'm asking you, and again, every year it's just not as easy for me to see, but I'm trying to do a better job explaining. Does everybody agree those are the widths? What's true about all the widths? They're the same. All right, they're the same. Does anybody have any issues with that? All right, so if I wanted to, I could say it's L3 times W1 plus L2 times W1 plus L1 times W1. Does everybody agree with that? That would be the area of all 3 of those rectangles. You might have any issue with that? Now, what's common here? W1. All right, so if I factor out W1, that leaves me with L3 plus L2 plus L1. What is L3 plus L2 plus L1 called? L1. Thank you. It is in fact the perimeter of the base. All right. It is in fact the perimeter of the base. Come on, listen. All right. L1 plus L2 plus L3 is actually called the perimeter. All right. Then W1 of this figure, instead of calling the width of the rectangle, is called the what? The height of the prism. Thank you for those you guys. So the surface area of any prism, can be written as 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height. Now, personally, as soon as my geometry teacher showed me that, man, that was just easy, simple for me. And I, to this day, don't understand why anyone has any problem with surface area. Right? If you just observe what I said, you understand that by adding up the area of the sides, that is simply the perimeter times the height. Another way you could look at it is if you cut this and opened it up, it would just be one giant what? Rectangle. That's all it would be. Wrapped around, all right, the base. All right, so again, this is what I want you to think about. The surface area of any prism is 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height. It's really and truly that simple. All right. The issue is we hope the base is an easy one. All right. And the height is easy because it's the perpendicular distance between the two bases. All right. The perpendicular distance between the two bases. What? Then it's called a pyramid. Then we have a different formula because now there's how many bases in a pyramid? There's 1. All right. So now since Charlie brought something up, I'm just going to grab a pyramid. All right. And then we're going to kind of take a look at it. All right. We'll kind of see what's going on here. All right. Now, again, please listen because, again, it's just really simple once you realize this. All right. So if I'm looking at a pyramid, ignore the numbers here. All right. So again, we can start out by saying surface area is just what? Area of the base. Now, why is it 1b? Because there's one base in a pyramid. There's one base in a pyramid. All right. Now the problem is the sides are made up of what? Triangles. Are the triangles equal? Generally, they're equal, but they don't have to be. In our lesson, we're going to be describing regular pyramids. Now, regular pyramids are easier, right? Simply because all of the triangles are going to be exactly the same. All right. So we're going to do surface area is equal to the area of the base plus, now what's the area of a triangle? Come on, guys, say it again. Yes, but I like 1/2 base times height. Now, how many sides are there in this particular case? There would be 6. So this would be 6, correct? Now you don't have to write that down. I'm just showing you something. So now I'm rewriting this as 6 times b. What is 6 times b? And so what does that represent? 6 times b would represent the what? The perimeter. That's exactly correct. So if I cross this out and replace 6b, I could just put what there in its place? Perimeter. All right. Now, here's the other thing. Height, when you're talking about a pyramid, generally is called this. This is called the height. Well, is that the height of the triangle? No. So this right here is designated, what do we actually call that height? Is it perpendicular or is it on a slant? It's on a slant, so we call that the slant height, L. I don't know why. That we just don't use S's. All right. So does everybody understand? There's the height of the prism and there's the height of the pyramid, right? I'm sorry, the height of the triangle. The height of the pyramid is capital H. All right. So in this case, we say the surface area of a pyramid is the area of the base plus 1/2 the perimeter times the slant height. And for whatever reason, they chose L. All right. That is how simple finding surface area is. Now, again, I just think that is simple, right? I don't have to memorize that formula because I understand the formula. Does everybody understand the perimeter, right? P is the perimeter. That's just the number of sides around it, all right? Any questions? Right, it's really simple. This is really simple. And again, I always tell kids, how many formulas do you get on the test? 0. So if you're not writing things down and you're not doing the problems and you're going, wow, that's so simple, I'm watching them do it, and you're writing down the answers going, man, this is the easiest thing in the world. Then you finally get to a test, you have to do it yourself. And all of a sudden now it's a mystery. All right. So again, I'm just cautioning you, you have to do the work. All right. There's a specific number of problems here and they're repetitive because I want you to understand the formulas. And if you understand the formulas, when you take your advanced math classes, your algebra 2, your calculus, your pre-calculus, life is much easier if you understand formulas. All right. The more you memorize, the harder it is. All right. The more you understand, the easier things are. All right. Anybody have any questions with those? All right. So again, two main formulas, 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter of the height. That's for a prism. And area of the base plus 1/2 perimeter times the slant height is the area of a, or surface area of a pyramid. All right. So with that being said, let's just try a couple real quick. All right. So again, we're not doing this like the old days. All right. So here we go. Surface area equals 2b plus ph. Now notice the rectangular prism is unique because is this the base down here? They're all could be considered bases, right? This is a unique shape because the top and bottom are the same, the left and right are the same, and the front and the back are the same. So either one of those could be the base, but you just have to name one of them as the base. And so what do I always name? I always name the one that it's sitting on, but the base is not always the one that it's sitting on. All right. So now, again, here's what I would like. I would like you to write down, not just type it on your calculator. You're going to write down surface area is equal to 2 times what? Okay, I'm okay with writing down 2 times 120. How did I get 120? 10 times 12 plus the perimeter of the base is what? 44 times the height, which is what? 12. All right, and so then we say surface area is equal to someone. How much, Sam? 768 what? Y'all are parrots. 768 what? You measure area with what? Squares. You measure volume with cubes. We're doing volume next chapter. Right now we're just doing area. So you measure area with squares. All right. There are 700. Does anybody have any questions with that? Anybody have any issues? All right. So let's check out number 2. All right. Now, again, this is a what? Cone, but a cone has the same formula as a what? Pyramid. All right, so let's talk about it. So surface area is equal to area of the base plus 1/2 perimeter times the slant height. Bless you. So now people say, oh my gosh, if I told you this, right, what's the area of the base? What formula? Pi r squared plus 1/2. What is the perimeter of a circle called? Circumference, which is 2 pi r and then L slant height. So I'm giving you the general formula. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you how, like on your SATs, they give you these formulas, right? Because kids don't understand. So I would like everybody in here to be able to tell me the surface area is just pi r squared plus pi r L. That is not something you need to memorize. That is simply based off of the area of a cone or of a pyramid. Does everybody see that? All right, so you don't have to remember pi r squared plus pi RL. You can get that information from knowing the surface area is the area of the base plus 1/2 perimeter times slant height. Is everybody with me on that? It's very easy. Now, obviously, all right, we leave answers in terms of pi, and I know they say round to the nearest tenth, all right? But we're just going to say surface area is equal to what? 25 pi plus pi RL. What's R? Thank you. 70 pi, whoever said that. And then my surface area is just what? 95 pi what? Meters squared, unless I made a mistake. What? What's the radius? What's the slant height? What's 5 times 14? There you have it. Easy enough, right? Easy, easy, easy. Now, again, I don't understand the difficulty at all, honestly. All right? You guys are smart enough. I've narrowed it down to 2 formulas. If you know the formula for all the other shapes for area, then this is a piece of cake. All right, so I'll do a couple more with you. All right, so here we go. Number 3, surface area. Please write it. Surface area, this is a what? So it's going to be surface area equals B plus PL now, 1/2 PL. That's another reason why I make you write it down. Now, this is regular. Everything's always regular. So the area of the base, now let's just go ahead and write that down. Even though we know 14 squared is 196, let's just write it down. Plus 1/2, what's the perimeter? Yep, 14 times 4, that's not a bad thing. Okay, now we're having some problems. Why are we having problems? All right, does not give me the slant height. 12 is what? 12 is the height of the prism, not the slant height. That's what I'm telling you. All right, so I need someone to calculate or someone tell me, please, how I can find the slant height. Listen to this. Go. What? Say it again. Yay, that is exactly correct. All right, so don't forget, we're drawing from here. We're drawing. Good morning, Mr. Wilson.
Morning.
Nice of you to join us today. Of course not. That goes in the garbage. All right, what's that length, please? 7. That is correct. Now, do me a favor and draw the slant height as we were told. That is the slant height. So if we calculate that, that's going to be no square root. What? Somebody okay with radical 193? Is that true? All right. So now here we go. Surface area equals, what's 14 squared? 196 plus 1/2 of 4 times 14. Am-
56 divided by 2.
Yeah. All right, it's 193, you guys said, right? All right. So now we would then say square feet. Now, again, that would be the what? Exact answer. That's what we're shooting for, the exact answer. All right. Now, let's say on the test, it was a multiple choice test and they gave me the decimals. You would just do 196 plus 28 radical 193, and someone tell me what that is. How much? 584.898. Is that what you said? 988. Yeah, because we generally round to 3 decimal places when you get to higher level. And then we say square feet. All right, now once again, guys, you're not getting better if you're not writing it out, you're not following it, you're not typing it on your calculator yourself. All right, that's where some of you are making mistakes. What? Half of 14 times 4. Am I wrong? Half of 14 is 7. 7 times. That's all right. It's no good. All right. Now you're unconfused, right? All right. So again, I'll do one more with you. All right. Number 4. Here we go. Lots going on here. Now, listen, this is garbage. Erase this 7.8. We don't know that. Right, because we're brilliant. That's why. They think we're not. So they're trying to cut us some slack, and we don't need slack. All right, here we go. Surface area, what's the formula again?
2b plus perimeter times L.
No, height. It's height. It's height.
Height. My bad. Shoot.
What's the surface area?
That thing right there.
2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height. No 1/2 because they're not triangles. They're not triangles. No big deal. That's why I'm trying to make sure. All right, so here we go. Surface area equals 2 times 1/2. What's the base? Are you serious? What's the base of the triangle? 9. That was a hard one. Times, what's the height of the triangle? I know. Stop. No. Stop.
7.8.
Someone tell me. Stop talking. Tell me the.
7.8.
How do we not know it's 4.5 radical 3? How did you not know that? 4.5 radical 3. That's the height. 4.5 radical 3. How did you not know that? Thank you. 4.5 radical 3. Now we can move on. All right. What? That's a equilateral triangle, which we've done 1,000,000 times. This is 60, 60, 30, 30. Opposite of 30 is 4.5. So the height is now 4.5 radical 3. You're welcome. Then plus the perimeter of the base is now what? What?
27.
And what's the height of the prism?
12.
Well, finally got something right. All right, so now my surface area, if we do our calculation, should be 81 over 2 radical 3 plus 270, what is that, 524? No, 324 is what I said. Okay, Sam, let me, or whoever, who said that? Sam, the distance between the two bases. What is that?
15.
The height.
Sam's body. Leave. Leave.
Shh, shh, leave Sam alone. Anybody else having any questions with that surface area? Anybody? Shh, shh. Anybody have any issues? What, Sam?
I don't
Understand what? Stop talking, Ruffin. Shh. Well, what do you want the height to be? Shh. That's the height of the triangle, not the height of the prism.
That's a formula.
Listen. Hey, hey, hey. Go. What, Sam?
Why do you do the perimeter of the triangle?
What is the base, Sam? Shh. Right. So it's the perimeter of the base What's the perimeter of the triangle? And what's the height of the prism? Are you unsure about that? Or do you understand now? Yes, thank you for asking. Just let them ask, all right? Okay. Anybody else? Again, I prefer exact answers. What? Yeah, I just did half of 2 and just canceled that out. And in my mind, I don't see 4.5. I just see 9 over 2. 9 times 9 is 81 over 2. You with me on that? We don't do decimals really, especially when they're simple as 4.5. Just leave it as 9 over 2. I should have just written this down here as 9 over 2. Right, then it'll be easy. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with you on today's work. So again, this right here, just to make sure, and I'm going to let you guys do maybe these 4 for homework. But what is the base of that shape? All right, so what is the perimeter called? The circumference. And again, this is a mystery to me. I don't understand why people can't just look at that and say, okay, the surface area is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. They think, oh my gosh, how do you do that? Right, because it's pi r squared is the what? The base. What is 2 pi r? The perimeter. And h, it's derived exactly from that formula. Surface area of a prism, of a cylinder. Surface area of a cylinder, 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. When you do that in your pre-algebra class, you go, oh my gosh, that is so long. All right, the formula, simple, simplifies everything. All right, now this down here tonight is a what? Pyramid, but the base can be cut into triangles. Specifically, what kind of triangles? Equilateral, that is correct. So there's going to be a 30, 60, 90 involved in that one. All right, there's going to be a 30, 60, 90. Now, is 20 the slant height? Yes, 20 is the slant height, and I feel like crossing that out, but all right. So tonight, listen, or right now, because we have a few minutes, really, I just honestly want you to try 5, 6. I don't even care about 8, 5, 6, and 7. All right, just 5, 6, and 7. And then tomorrow we'll knock the rest of this out. All right, we'll have fun with number 15 because that's called a what? You are amazing. Trapezoidal prism. That sounded good too. Not like before. All right, very good for today, guys. Outstanding.